Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino. I'm your host. Tonight, I've got two really interesting people with me. I got Kate, who is our trainer, and Kyle, who is our assistant trainer. We're
Hello.
going to be talking. We're going to be talking tonight about what the process is and the benefits of having and training a service dog is for a veteran struggling with PTSD or traumatic brain injury. Kate, why don't you start out? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Kate McGrail. I've been training for a little over 18 years. Competition, pet dog training, therapy dog, service dog. Um, so we've spent a lot of time, kind of developing my training methods and things that way. I've been running the training program for canines for about 4 years now. Um,
You've been doing a great job, Kate.
that's basically it.
Kate, tell us a lot of people ask me what our training methods are, and I tell them it's by positive reinforcement. Why don't you explain that what positive reinforcement really is?
So, positive reinforcement is providing a reward system for the dog to work for in order to actually have them achieve different little goals and steps. So you're taking and breaking apart all of the different stages of the training and adding a reward basis to them so the dog always has something to work towards. Um, a lot of it's done with a clicker, like to mark different behaviors and things that way so that the dog knows the exact point in time when they're doing exactly what we want them to do and what's going to get them a reward for doing it.
So, in other
So
words,
it's just a dog led
a
training
lot of
procedure.
trainers will use uh, a harsh choke collar to get to them to the point where they want to be at, right, with the training, and you're totally against that.
Right. The standard old style choke collars that a lot of training utilized for a very long time don't necessarily work anymore in as you're trying to make the dog learn, especially because we want to have the
What
dogs be they're always feeling like they're in control of whatever scenario it is. Um, we're technically more um, what you would call balanced training. We do utilize in early training different types of training collars and things that way for directional use to give the dogs different signals, but not in the way that old training used to do it, not those kind of collars.
okay, Kate? What are okay? We have some veterans that have their own service, their own dog that they would like us to train for them. What are some of the traits that these dogs need to have before they could, like be qualified to be in the program and actually train with their veteran to be a service dog? I mean, there's got to be some kind of
So when people bring in their own dog, a lot of what I'm looking for in evaluating those specific dogs is that they have a really good bond with the person. They have a good understanding of some very remedial, basic type stuff. They're not in any way, shape, or form reactive or overly interested in the other dogs that would like preclude them from some of the work that we do.
so.
I try to, kind of just get a basis of where the dog is when they first start. But
Mhm.
as long as there's no aggression, reactivity, a lot of it's stuff that can be taught. Some of the cell phone dogs come in better. Some of them come in the same way as our rescue dogs that I bring in to provide for people, which I like to, start and get going on the systems and everything before the
You're freezing up, Kate.
oh, sorry.
Uh,
Yeah, you're
it's
freezing
the
up.
Wi-Fi.
So go on, Kate.
So it's a good starting place for them to have their own dog. If they don't have their own dog, that's when we pair them off with a dog that we provide that we found through the shelters and
And
already kind of put a head start on.
and what do you look for when a veteran puts his application and we learn as much as we can about their lifestyle and what their needs are for a service dog? When you go to the shelters, what are you looking for when you select a dog to be in the program?
Um, and it's hard to tell sometimes because a lot of the shelter dogs are exhibiting behaviors based off of stress because they're in the shelter environment. But I
Hmm.
look for dogs that are willing to work for a reward, dogs that are willing to engage with me over like the other distractions, like the dogs in the background and other people. Dogs that are willing to at least give me a try. Like, okay, this strange person has come in and I've been in the shelter for a while. Are they willing to take food from me? Are they willing to stay engaged with me over getting distracted? Do they want to want to give me something back as I'm working with them so that I have a way to reward them and kind of make sure that they're going to be the right fit.
So they have to have really a great temperament because
Right.
we subject our dogs to so many distractions when they're out with our veterans in public that they really have to focus on the veteran,
Neutrality.
right?
Right. Um, the dogs that can be neutral in environments are usually the best dogs. The dogs that can take into account everything in the environment, but still focus back on their handler and still want to work for a reward, even if people and dogs and squirrels and cats and shopping carts and things like that exist. They can still kind of work past all those things. And we're expecting a service dog going out in environments in different places with their handler to go in places that a normal pet dog will never see in their life. So it's a little bit more extensive than um, what you would normally see in like a regular obedience class where they're only getting so much. We have to go like 10 steps further.
Yeah. Kyle, you
Yes.
just recently started training as an assistant trainer with Kate. You've seen these veterans in the class when they come in from day one. What about how do you see the bonding between the two after a month or two?
How do I see the bond?
Do they seem
Usually the dog is like very focused. It's looking up at the veteran, and it shows that it wants to work.
but do you see the bonding progress between the veteran and the service dog as the training progresses? Do you see them getting closer together and working together as a unit more so than the first week or two that they're in? I'm sure they're apprehensive about, is the training, is this right for me? Is this going to work for me? But I know I myself
Changes every
when
time they come in.
when I go to a training class and I witness these veterans training and bonding with the dog, in my opinion, after a veteran's been training with this dog for some time, you couldn't get that dog away from them for anything. I mean, they their bond just becomes so strong because they're working from the ground up. Because our dogs that we give our veterans, when they come into the program, the majority of them really have no experience at all,
Correct.
in anything that we're doing, that we're beginning to teach them. So,
Yes.
so the bonding process it does so much for the veteran. It's unbelievable. It really is. You know,
Right.
um,
100%. Bob and Happy are a terrific example of that.
in what way?
Um, Happy does not like to be away from Bob. That has been something that we've been working on at class. Is just getting them to be apart for a couple minutes at a time and just building it up from there.
Hmm. So it's all it's just a progress what you're going through. What every service dog and every veteran are different. So you can't say the program is based on this, this, and this going forward. You have to fit that program to meet that individual's veterans' needs because they're all different.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing what you guys can do with a dog. It's just amazing when I watch, like I said, the transformation that these veterans make um, in the training class with their handler. You know, these service dogs they do a lot for our veterans. A lot of our veterans when they would go into a crowded room, uh, they feel like everybody's staring at them. Like the focus of that room is entirely on them, and it makes them feel uneasy, uncomfortable, and they sort of withdraw even more. When they walk in with the service dog, the focus is on the veteran and I'm sorry, on the service dog and not themselves. So it's much easier for them to walk into a room when everybody's looking at the dog because inadvertently people are going to come up and say, "Hey, well, what's your dog's name? How old's your dog? What kind of dog is that? Could I pet your dog?" No. That's a definite no. But so it opens them up to opening up to other people that typically they would avoid at all cost. But the service
Correct.
dog now gives them the opportunity to talk to someone because it's not about them, it's about their animal, their service dog. So that's really one of the key things that I know firsthand what it does for our veterans and stuff. Is there a specific age that would be best suited for a service dog?
I try to stay between, like, starting point for the program. I try to stay between 6 months to 2 years. The program itself takes about a year and a half to 2 years. So we want to
Mhm.
get them out and working with their veteran as quickly as possible so that they can get the most use out of the dog's life of, being able to work. And we do have multiple veterans at this point that are on their second dog, because one has, and they've come back to, kind of do it again.
So again, what is the average duration? You said about a year, 6 months, 2 years. Is that right?
Right. Between a year and a half and 2 years.
That's amazing. I've seen so many veterans come into the program, and like I said, we're like, "Oh God, is this for me?" But I'm going to tell you, after a while, it just makes my heart smile that I see the bond that they form. Um, when you have a veteran that is do you have them do, work at home,
They
with the
should
service
be
dog other
working.
than your training?
Right. So every week, everyone comes in, and we focus on what that person needs that day. All of our classes are mixed levels. So between the two of us, we kind of divide the people up and what they have to work on this week. And then we kind of take that and say, okay, for the next 5 days, you're going to work on 10 minutes of this, 5 minutes of that. I'd like you to get out to one store, kind of break it down for them so that there's something they always have to leave with to work on before the next session.
Okay, we don't allow our veterans to take our service dogs out in public unless they've been vested, right?
Right. Well, there is a progression with that. So once they're vested, they can go anywhere. When they're before that, we still have to get the dogs into certain scenarios and things like that to work them to the point where they're capable of doing it on a constant
Right.
basis. After about the 6 month mark, they're allowed to go with them and um, generally in like a mall or a very open area, and we can kind of work on the things that they've learned in class in a new location to see
Mhm.
that the dogs are responding to the training and can handle it as the environment changes. Service dogs have to be in all these different places that are very overwhelming sensory wise for the dogs. So we need to get them out, but we do it in a very structured way. So they're not, after maybe about the year mark, they can go to, they've proceeded outside of like pet friendly places. That's where you're kind of starting. Maybe they can do a quick trip in and out of somewhere, or they can do a special therapy session with just their doctor, or they can do, so we kind of go by how the person's progressing, where they're allowed to take the dog versus having them wait that whole 2 years to ever be able to go out in public. We need to build that as we go.
The Bolingbrook Promenade is great for that. The canine store in that area, we'll be doing public sessions there.
Why?
Once
Why
the weather permits.
Why is that a good place?
A lot of those stores are very open, very pet friendly, easy access. They're very small stores, so we can do very short trips into the store and then allow the dog to come back out of them to kind of regroup and get past, the feeling of being in the store. You can do a lot of little groups in a time. Okay, we didn't like necessarily what the dog did in that store. Take a minute, put the dog in a downstay, calm yourself down. And we have the canine store there also available, so they can stop in there different days and different time during the week. If one of us is there, or if Reggie's there, we kind of have the ability.
You keep freezing up, Kate.
Oh, we're at the Joliet Center right now.
Oh, are you? Okay. That's why you're
Yeah, it's
freezing
the
up.
Wi-Fi.
That's why you're freezing up.
Yeah.
And again, these service dogs make such a huge difference in their lives. I mean, they're trained to turn on a light. They can get your keys. They can get your medicine. They could block for you. I mean, and those are really all great things. But the majority of them, what they're being trained for is for that PTSD. Okay.
Right.
And so when a veteran has a PTSD episode, that dog is going to do what to alert them, Kate?
So initially, we pair we make the person kind of go through and think about like something they start doing as their anxiety starts to build up. A lot of times there's something physical. They start to walk faster. They start to like wrench crack their knuckles. They start to tap their foot. They start to, do something physical before actually kind of escalating. We teach the dogs to pick up on a lot of those signals, and a lot of those things are very specific to the person. What the dogs are actually doing is, as soon as they start to sense that escalation, which starts as a visual picture, the more they practice it and the more they actually fundamentally use it, the more the dog picks up on. So
Right.
the dog is giving them some kind of an alert, some kind of a passive alert, which is either touching their hand, bumping their leg, like moving in. Oh, that's my alert. I need to pay attention to my dog. And
Right.
then that alert gets them to remove themselves from whatever environment, whatever sensory overload, whatever conversation they're having, in a very easy way for them to do. Like, oh, my dog has to go out potty. I have to go do something for my dog. So it gets them out of whatever it is that is making them have the episode in the first place.
Right.
They remove themselves from the environment, sit with the dog. They go into something else we call deep pressure therapy, where the dog puts pressure on different parts of their body based on their symptoms. So they're essentially utilizing the alert from the dog to remove themselves from whatever's causing the episode, get back down to a more normal state of mind, and then they can either re-enter wherever they were, or they can be calm enough to drive home or to go,
Right.
on with their lives.
A lot of our veterans, Kate, have PTSD. They have sleep deprivation, and when you have sleep deprivation, that affects your mental stress, your mental mind, it affects your total well-being. Okay. When you have a service dog, if you're afraid to go to sleep because I want to call it the bad place, you don't want to go to that bad place. Knowing that you have a service dog by your side, that if you're experiencing that trauma in your sleep, your dog is going to wake you up from that, so you don't have to spend any time in
Staying in
where
it.
it caused your PTSD. And I guess the single most important thing, these dogs are always with our veterans. They're with them 24/7. They literally become their best friend. Some of these veterans with their dogs, they're closer to the dog than some of their family members because that service dog is with them 24/7. And that
Right.
bond that they form, again, I know I keep stressing about the bond, but it's just amazing, the bond that they form between the two.
The dog essentially becomes a lifeline for them.
Yeah, they do. They really do. Where a lot of veterans that before they got their service dog, they wouldn't leave their house. They would just be non-existent almost. I mean, they just didn't do anything. They were just a shell of a person. When you have a service dog, you now have to get up in the morning, take care of that dog, feed the dog, let the dog out. So from the beginning, it's giving them a sense of purpose. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Purpose and routine. A lot of what they're missing is a lot of like routine in their life. If they had the opportunity to sleep all day or to not leave the house, they would before. And now they have a reason that they have to go do those things.
Exactly.
Um, we do also stress, you know, it's not, there is some downtime for the dog too. And when they're down, the dog should take a little bit of a break, get a little bit of time to kind of get outside of um, the working environment. So they do get time. They're not like working every second of every day. They do get time to be a dog. And I think that's a lot of what people who don't understand service dogs struggle
Mhm.
with, the fact that they're being forced to work all the time. They're not. They're
Right.
getting their downtime the same way their person gets the downtime. They get couch time, they get time to sleep in bed with their owner, they get
What do you find is the most challenging part?
time to, take a nice walk and smell. So one of the things we really stress with the veterans is, getting that routine down, getting that moderation to give both themselves and the dog what they need as a team.
Kate, what do you find is the most challenging part of a veteran coming in new with a service dog in the training? What's the most challenging part?
Not rushing. And that's something that a lot of people are so like, I need this, I need this, I need this, that they tend to try to skip ahead steps or to go outside to like, I'm gonna watch a whole bunch of training videos and I'm gonna do all these different things. It has to be a very slow and steady progress. And
Mhm.
everything within the program itself is very sequential. Like you do this step and then you do this step. And we've kind of built it that way to give them the time to build up their obedience and to get comfortable as a handler before throwing them out into the world. And a lot of them just they want to get there. They want to get to the point where the dog can go to work, the dog can go everywhere. And it takes a little bit to kind of rein them back in. And, you got to build this together. You have to build this as a team, and you have to do it so that the dog always feels like the dog's in control and happy and safe. You can't just rush to get to the end. You have to,
Right.
wait a
It,
little bit.
it it is a slow process.
Right.
I
It
would
is.
say, especially for the new veterans coming in, bad habits and breaking those bad habits, especially like just one handing their leash and letting the dog walk them everywhere instead of, using two hands on the leash and being in control of the leash.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, when I go and I'm at the training center and I watch these veterans train with the dog, now I see why we do what we do because it makes such a marked difference in their attitude in their life. And what's good about the program, not only working with their service dog, but now they're bonding and making friends with other veterans that are going through the same thing that they're going through. So it's much easier to relate to someone who's been there, who's walked down that road, who's kicked that can, and who knows exactly what they're going through. And so they form a bond
Absolutely.
with these other veterans that before had nobody to talk to. And nobody could
Right.
relate better to a veteran than another veteran. So that's
That's what
one
this
of the great
program has
things.
done for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've got Kyle, you've come such a long way. I'm so proud of you. When I watch you work with these veterans, you have the patience of a saint. Okay. More so than I'd have. And I guess being a veteran yourself, you could relate to them and what they're going through because you're struggling with it as well.
Correct.
So what better teacher could you have than someone who knows exactly what you're feeling, exactly the shortcomings and what you're going through. So I mean, like I said, when I watch you train with these veterans, I just smile because you've come such a long way. I mean, I remember when you first started with the program, it's like, oh God, is he gonna make it? And now you're talking to people, you're explaining the program, how it works, and what it takes to get a veteran in the program. I mean, you're doing so much more than you're training because you're encouraging these veterans to say, hey, you know, I'm with you. I've got what you've got. I've been where you at. And look at me. I've come such a long way.
Absolutely.
So thank you for reaching out to these veterans and taking that first step to make them feel like they're not alone, like you know you've got their six and you do. So
100%.
yeah, so I mean, it's just amazing what you guys are a great team. You
Thank
guys
you.
really complement one another, and I'm so proud when I sit there and I watch you guys work with our veterans because it just means so much to them. Because, like I said, you're taking them from being a shell of a person with that PTSD, and next thing you know, they're talking, they're having competition with one another. My dog's better than your dog. My dog can turn on that light quicker than your dog. My dog focuses on me better than your dog focuses on you. And it's such a healthy competition between the two of them because they all laugh and joke around about it and stuff, but it means so much to them. It really does. It's so amazing to see
Mhm.
what these guys what they're picking up and what they're learning just from the training class, you know. Um,
Absolutely.
I mean, so again, it's all about teamwork. What can we look for when we have a veteran? And I keep saying that when we have a veteran first start in the program, I mean, can you tell off from the get whether or not they're going to make it?
No, maybe I've started and it was just like this is a little bit too much. It's too much with my lifestyle. I really really love my dog, but service dog isn't for me. Um, and sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. We don't push anybody to reach their goal unless they're asking us to push them to it. Um, and there are some that completely come out of the box and surprise us. It's like someone that really really took a long time to get used to it and to get things, and then all of a sudden something clicks.
Mhm.
And those are the ones that go on to train another pet dog a little bit, really get involved with it. They go out and do all of our events and things like that. And I think seeing those that work past everything and really get into it, that's what brings in other people also because they see how much dedication they have to it.
Well,
And it goes both ways.
I don't want to forget Ken here because Ken plays a huge part in our training classes, Ken, he does a video of every training class that we have because we want people to see what we do. And if you like a veteran, you could follow his progress through our training videos that Ken puts on. And Ken, I want to call him the assistant trainer as well. He's our second vice president, and he's all about helping veterans, 100% into it. So,
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off quick, but Ken, when Kate and I are both busy trying to help someone, Ken will go
you're
out of
break,
his way. If multiple people have questions, um, he's always willing to jump right in.
yeah, he's those training videos, they mean a lot to Canine because we want people to see. We could sit here all day and talk about, well, we do this and we do that and we did this and we did that. When you can actually show the public where your money is going to by supporting Canine so we can keep providing these service dogs to the veteran, when you could show them up front, this is what it's all about. This is what we're doing for our veterans. Watch them progress every week. They get better and better and better and better. So thank you, Ken,
When
for doing those videos.
something Ken does with the videos also, when the person goes through their dedication and actually gets their vest, Ken goes back through all of that video and makes a specific video for every one of them so they can see themselves at their dedication, what they look like when they first started all the way through. And I've always thought
As
that was very special that he does that for them.
you know what? They've got something to look back on. When we have our service dog presentation, which is Reggie Latuca, our vice president, that's her baby. She's all about that service dog dedication, bar none, hands down. I mean, that's her baby. But the bottom line is that night is all about our veterans. It's not about canine. It's not about promoting anything other than what I feel giving the veterans, and what Reggie feels is about giving the veterans a night that they should have had when they come home. It's a very special night for them, and we try to make it as special for them. And I'll tell you, there's not a dry eye in the house when when those sponsors walk in and present that service dog to the veteran. There's not a dry eye in the house. Believe me, it's
Absolutely.
amazing what that night mean, and it's their night. It's a very special night for them, and that's what Reggie strives for it to be. They want to. She wants it to be a memorable night that they could take with them and look back on and say, that was for me. And that's what we
Mhm.
try to do with our veterans and its service dog dedication. So thank you, Reggie, for putting your heart and soul into making that service dog dedication a huge success for our veterans. It's just amazing. Um, again, I'm so proud of you two, the way you train. Kate, your phone is on 24/7 to our veterans. Now,
Yep.
I don't know, and Kyle, yours too. I don't know many veterans, and Ken, I don't know many veterans that, go out of their way to take such a personal interest in our veterans like you do. Like the whole team.
Mhm.
We got Zach, who's a national spokesperson for Canine. He is out there pounding the pavement, talking about Canine. And it's important that Zach lets other veterans know that there is help for them out there, that they don't have to struggle with that PTSD alone. So, it's just a great team of people that we have. And I think that's why Canine has been as successful as it has been, is because one, we're very transparent in what we do. Um,
Mhm.
it's just a good thing all the way around. So God bless you guys. And then, we recently, Lewis um, was a veteran. He started our program, Kate, as you know, not too long ago. But his heart is so into canine and getting the word out to other veterans. So between Zach and Lewis, thank you guys for what you're doing to help spread the word, so we can help more veterans, because that's what this program is all about. It's getting our veterans past that point where they're not thinking about PTSD, suicide anymore. We built Canine built that Forgotten Warrior Memorial located in Shanahan State Park, and it's to recognize the veterans who lost that battle to PTSD. And I'm so happy to say and so proud to say that all the veterans that we've had in our program, we have not lost not one veteran to PTSD suicide. So we're really proud of that fact. So, and again, it's what everybody's doing to make these veterans successful in their training. You know, um, so if people are out there and they want to know more about K9, please go to our website, which is the letter K, the number 9, the letter S, the letter D, .org, K9SD.org. You could find everything you need to know about K9, what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. So, again, if you see a veteran that's struggling with PTSD or traumatic brain injury, he doesn't have to fight that fight alone. He's got a team of people right here at K9 that's willing to work with him and do whatever we can to make his life better for not only him, but it affects the whole family. So, I can't thank you guys enough again for what you're doing. I want to end this with just a couple notes here. If I don't mention this, then I'm going to be yelled at, I think. We have our gala event coming up. So it's our first annual event. It's going to be a great event. We got an open bar. The menu, filet mignon, chicken, fish. There's got to be something there that you like.
I'm
So
excited for the filet mignon.
yeah, you and me both. And it's an open bar. So, and it's right around Valentine's Day. So, instead of taking your girl out for dinner at some restaurant, take her out to somewhere that's going to have an impact on somebody's life. Help us out. Help us to support another veteran that's struggling with PTSD. So, and with that, I just want to say thank you for all you're doing for our veterans.
Thank you, Michael.
We got a great team here. We really do. So God bless each and every one of you. Continue to do what you're doing by supporting our veterans the way you do. It's just a great deal. Thank you so much for being my guest tonight. Kate, Kyle,
Thank you.
looking forward to another training class with you guys.
Absolutely.
Take care. Thank you so much.